Remakes. That dreaded word that makes your stomach clench up like a fist. Remakes of movies have had a pretty sorry reputation for the past 20 or 30 years, and for good reason. A lot of them really and truly do suck, and suck hard. Whether it's the Jan de Bont version of The Haunting, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, the Roland Emmerich Godzilla, or, yeah, I'm gonna say it, the Peter Jackson King Kong, remakes have been sucking hard, bombing big, and yet financially succeeding for the longest damn time, and the pain only continues. Imagine if you're doom scrolling on social media and you see a post saying, I don't know, for example, Creature from the Black Lagoon is getting a remake. I'm guessing 90% of you would immediately expect the worst, and I don't blame you. Nothing angers a film nerd or a monster kid like hearing the news that a beloved classic is getting a remake. But has that always been the case? If you know your cinema history, you'll know that remakes are nothing new. They go back over a century and were consistently part of the movie-going experience. Let's say, for example, you heard someone was going to remake The Maltese Falcon. A lot of people would immediately cry out, "You can't do that! The original version with Humphrey Bogart is a classic!" And they would be half right. Yes, the Bogart version is a classic, but it wasn't the original version. In fact, it was the third time that story was made into a movie. And the reason we overlook the previous two versions is because they sucked and sucked hard. Sometimes it's a matter of the right time, the right place, and the right talent coming together, but there actually are examples where a remake succeeds as both an improvement on the original and a great movie in its own right, and I honestly can't think of a better example than today's drawing subject, the 1982 John Carpenter remake of The Thing. So before you interrupt me by pointing out the obvious, yes, there is another remake of The Thing, or prequel, or whatever the hell it is, the 2011 version, and yes, it sucks and sucks hard and is a fine point in favor of don't remake classics. I mostly agree with that, but I would say the lesson is, don't remake classics badly. I don't really want to talk about the 2011 version because even if I could use it for a further demonstration on how not to do a remake, in the end it doesn't change what is already a great movie, which is the 1982 version. So let's backtrack and keep it to just that version, okay, and the 1951 version, even if I already discussed that in the last episode. The Carpenter version is a goddamn great movie in its own right. The story and pacing are really strong. Yes, the characters are pretty basic, but they work in service to the story and give you just enough to care about them and whether or not they'll survive. It's tense, it's scary, it's engaging, it makes you feel the weight of dread that so many horror movies wish they could evoke, and it's perfect. Of course, for us monster kids, the true story of the movie is The Thing itself, or rather, I really should say the artists like Rob Bottin, Mike Ploog, and all of the designers and special effects crew and creators who brought this monstrosity to life. And of course, the actors themselves when they play the Thing in disguise. This is the pinnacle of practical monster effects for a lot of filmgoers, and even now, over 40 years later, they still hold up amazingly. Yes, it's a ton of shock and a ton of gore, but again, it's in the service of the story. It adds to the threat put on display here. It's immersive in the most horrifying way, and yeah, perfect. You'll never look at a Siberian Husky the same way again, that's for sure. Now, most of you who know the history of this movie will recall that it bombed big time and that 80s critics hated the hell out of every slimy drop of it, ironically, because they believe that remakes suck and suck hard and you shouldn't tamper with the classics. And yes, even though I did nitpick the 1951 version the last episode, it's fine, it's a totally fine movie, but honestly, we would have missed out on something truly incredible had John Carpenter not taken a chance on telling his version and telling it right. Now, of course, the only thing that would have improved this movie is if Roddy Piper had shown up out of nowhere and gotten into a 6-minute fight with Keith David. That would have made it the perfect John Carpenter movie. Who can say what will happen next? Remakes will keep happening, a lot of them will continue to suck and suck hard, but keep your eyes on those extended stalks because you never know when a gem will emerge from the junk or a truly amazing monster will arise from the ice. Take care, guys. See you next time. That thing,